Hey everybody, it's Dune back with another episode of Factorial Megabase version 2. So this last episode, I technically was beginning the run towards speed modules for yellow circuits. Yellow science, which will then also be used for space science, which is the rocket control unit. But what I really did was add more ore to our smelting line for blue circuits and added another green circuit outpost. Changed the way lines were done, added more mining, copper ore for this build here. And, we're going to continue green circuits. I basically want to ghost in, not completely ghost in, we'll figure out some way to do it without having to build the whole thing. Here and here. And then probably do a build like right here for the speed modules, green circuits. It's either that or build another smelting line and smelting lines. I mean, I did figure at some point I'm going to put in an iron smelting line here. And probably a green circuit build. So like this copper build really probably should be down here somewhere. And we should have an iron build and then like a green circuit build. Sort of to feed this side of the base. Like having green circuits way over here and iron way up here. Like I really didn't know what I was thinking when I know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking on kind of like this tiered system for the outposts when I was doing this. I mean, because when I was doing this, literally the base was only this big. And I pushed out to here and I built iron. So we weren't, and I might have had this out here, but it was like one long line with this. There wasn't any of this over here. So is this empty now? Yeah, okay. Kind of wish I could take back the last 2 minutes of what I've said, but actually I think I'd rather, it's a lot of work to build this, but at the same time, I think we should have copper down here, iron down here, because eventually the ore up here is going to run out, and then literally we're going to be bringing trains over in there. And I think, even though we got this track here, I don't think it's permanent. I think it was just sort of, let's sort of expand this way and find more ore. And we really didn't find much. So, we'll probably continue that kind of thing as we look for more ore to mine for this stuff. But I think this track here will be permanent. This one here. But we would want probably a south plunging line right here to feed, or maybe even here, like that'd probably even be better. Like one would be iron and one would be copper, and then the ore literally would come from the south and in. We would maybe even have two, one for copper and one for iron, and they wouldn't mix. Like even if we found this beautiful iron patch down here like this, we wouldn't feed it into here. I probably wouldn't do that just simply because, but the more trains are like having to come up and making left turns over trains that are trying to make right turns and trains that are trying to go back south, creates traffic jams. So if we could just make it so trains are pretty simple turns without a lot of cross traffic, is the way to go. And so if it's not complicated, fancy, requiring 3 different thing build, It's just ore flowing back and forth. It's hopefully my intention to limit, um, that production problem. I know there's a car sort of idling outside, but hopefully they're turning off their car here in a second. Yeah, they just did. Maybe we did this, well, except for the uranium, which I'm not moving. There's like a ton of uranium ore, which I've 25,000 235s and 33,000 238s just sort of sitting there. Something I processed a long time ago. I suppose that build could move too. But how really big is an iron build get? And I really don't want these things to get so huge. Like literally, if we go to say this produce 2,000 packs per minute, and we wanted to double it, I say build the whole thing again over here instead of trying to cram more trains, more resources, et cetera, in the same area. That's just a thought. We'll see how that goes. But, kind of like once you cut that balanced, you'd kind of want to duplicate it instead of just shoving more at it. It's kind of what I was doing with my last Megabase, and literally, my steel builds were like, instead of just a few beautiful build, it was like this one massive complex of, what was it, like 20 some of these little outposts. It definitely was neat, but it was also a learning experience that I don't want to duplicate. Because I had to rebuild it like several times, like to fit them all in the space that I had, that I'd given it, because I was fitting in other things. So if we dedicate some area down here to a copper build and a iron build, and then here like a green circuit build, and then that green circuit build would easier feed this red circuit build. So I think I want to do that. I guess I'll start with the iron build. So for basically what this is, speed modules, level 1s is what we're looking for. We need 5 green circuits and 5 red circuits. We have a nice red circuit build here, which has got room for expansion. Plastic and all that. This is kind of like a medium. Sulfuric acid, petroleum gas would probably be better down here, except for I built it to do plastic. Steel's kind of up here. It's mid-tier, even though I'm using iron ore to build it. It's technically an iron plate into steel. Let's see. So to do this, it's really not terribly complex. We're just, we got ore. We would have ore coming in and plate coming out. So we'd want ore coming in from the bottom, and then plate flowing out the top. Kind of wish this was a little wider. We could plan on this. Could make this a 2-4-2 intersection. 2 this way, 2 this way. We could split the track. I think that's the way we want to go. Even though we've kind of mined up, there was a bunch of beautiful iron patches here. That's why we built this area down here. Our uranium patch we're mining. Probably be mining it for the rest of the game because all we use it for is nuclear fuel for our trains. This iron patch is pretty much gone. This one's pretty much gone. There was one here and a copper gone. Well, actually, the copper's still there. Where's this going? Probably steel, would be my guess. Yep. Okay, so we do have to keep that in mind. Steel's wanting ore. Technically, steel could probably get its ore from here, or from the west, or even from the north. Probably ought to do that instead of them getting their ore from down here, but I needed ore at the time, and had this build, and Megabase was, is less and less use now. So we'll probably redirect those trains at some point too. There's a couple things I'm gonna. Do I make those? Yeah, I got 50 of them. Just normally don't do it from over here. I've had this blinking outpost wanting their gates for a long time. I'm just going to go take it to them. But while we're doing that, let's take a train for doing some track. Make sure all these arms are moving. I have a train coming. While we're doing some of this, let's pull up those. Heading down there, right? It's the only way to get there. For some reason we got a lot of landfill on us. Let's drop that. There's always little things like this to do. Expand out. Don't need old defenses anymore. Sure, we still need all this. Yep. Is this? Was this not on your arm? Because it's not showing up as missing. Iron ore 23. Well, there's certainly no iron ore there. That's down at 0 on your arm. Well, I'm kind of glad we came this way because these guys are needing up. Oops. A lot of biters built up. How's repair tools doing here? Yeah, 49 of 50. It's good. Alright, that's gonna stop water blinking. Okay. Let's just head back. We're gonna turn the train around, so. Let's see. Oh, never mind. I wasn't gonna use this. I have a train coming up my snout. Undo. We're gonna use a track of track, or a car of track. No, I don't want that. Train comes on this downward slope. I want it to stop. Okay, so we have to change some track in this area, like this one. I think it's going to be a little over. I might as well just ghost it. Yeah, see, it's off by just a hair. We could leave the bottom one still, have it feed into our stackers or whatever. We do copper here, iron here. Does give us room here for something at a later date. And then replace this with green circuits. Probably then want to change this to a 4-lane track. Kind of do what we did here. So we can bring stuff from, well, except for, no, this is a permanent track, I said. And it goes through. Well, we can just work off of that. And finally got a train coming in on me. He's still coming up my backside. Above some of these trees. Just cause. I want to make this left. I think I kind of do. I don't know why that laser's left there, but it was. I want to redo this blueprint. I've been saying it. I've been wanting to do it for a while. One, I want that one there, and I want this chain signal there. Because every time I put it down, this should have had a chain signal there to begin with. That way, if a train gets stopped, it stops here. That way, from a distance anyways, you can tell this train to maybe to go straight. You know, if there's some sort of traffic jam. Alright, so what's that look like in my book? I guess just T something. Yeah, T2. T and then 2 for 2 tracks. What did I name it though? Just blueprint. Horizontal double single spur. 2 lane. Alright, you name it something, but double track T. T double track. Signaled with power or whatever you want. Well, first let's get my official book, which is horribly sorted. I don't know what happened, but it horribly sorted. Let's get some lasers. We're going to let that landfill back, but trying to get these books to match so like I start a new game, I'm not lost on where things go. WAY2. 020A03. HSRL and then VSRL. It's probably these guys. The entrance and exit. Let's ditch my old T2 while I'm at it. It's so annoying when you go to play a map and this is all sort of random. You're like, oh, where did things go? What happens is if it's while it's here, while it's in here, and you add something to it, it sorts it. It automatically sorts it and doesn't keep your sort, which is something I kind of learned recently. So sorry for taking the time to do this, but it's part of my play. So entrance, exit, HS1. Actually, I don't know what HS1 is. Horizontal spur 1, probably. Yeah. This really should be after T's. single track spur. It's like actually more like a Y. But I consider it a spur. So it's like these, except for one lane. And then we do, I think, the horizontal, HS1, then H1L, H1R. And then probably the angled one left and angled one R. HS1, H1L, H1R, E1L, E1R. And then station. I'm gonna, at this point, start taking from this book because I've added this one with fuel. So like this one, we should modify it a little bit. So it's not just nuclear fuel. It would take, say, 10 rocket fuel, 10 solid fuel. Coal. At that point, it's kind of, by the time you get a request for chest, you should be off coal, but I might as well leave that in there in case somebody, I share my blueprint book. I'm not going to put wood. So let's get this name. Copy it again. Name. Change that to a station. And I'm going to just use the nuclear fuel icon. So we have this one, and then we have that one. One without fuel, one with fuel. But then we also have my dummy station, which is this one. Then we go left blue. Well, actually, it would probably be the red one. So loading blue, right to left. But in this case, what did we do? Left to right or left to right to left? We did right to left, but I think left to right sounds better. So loading red, loading red. But I think we alternate. So I should have the loading blue. And then we should have, the loading double-sided. And then we should have the unloading stations. For some reason these, I mean, in my book, they're backwards. Well, I guess, no, that actually makes sense. Is I actually have the 2-3 blue, which is this guy. No. Yes. So after the loading stations, you actually want the minears. But with the red one first. I mean, eventually you delete all the, once you get all blue belts, you just delete the red ones out of your book, on the one you're using, but not the permanent book. See, this should be like way down here. Stink. Yeah, this one's sort of out of order. Should probably have the loading. My book, I made a loading iron. Loading iron and a loading copper. Which I'd like to keep as permanent. Loading copper, then that guy. And the 4-4 blue, whatever that is. Probably got 4-4 red as well. Actually, I don't know, I've not seen it in the book, so it's possible it's something I created. It's the splitter, or balancer. So this should go probably after the belts area. Before the bots part. Oops. Alright, U4D blue. This is an unloading, like sort of like a main base. I don't really use this one anymore. More use. I prefer this design now. See, you can put a RoboPort between these guys where you can't with that other design. The only problem with this is there's no signals. So I'm going to add that ghosted in. It'll show up in the blueprint. Where you gonna leave those? Actually, these fueling designs we'll leave in. So what did I call that? Like U for U blue or something weird. Well, it'd be U for unloading. U double-sided blue would be more like the red version. Probably should have like speed inserters instead of stack inserters, but so the U4D is this guy. So here's kind of this design, except for without the whole shebang. This, I also created this game. So let's put this in after RoboPorts. So I don't use these single lane stacker things much, but I don't mind leaving them in the book. This is actually a 131. I don't even know why it's in this book, but so here's that U4D blue. This just doesn't work as nicely. We're going to get rid of that. Even though it has a red counterpart. So we can, well, once we sort of get this done, it turns out this thing is not as, I must have copied it before I made this right in the Megabase, my first Megabase. So we have this already. So this is my angle track. I really need to make a powered version of that. That's tileable. And it needs to have signals like in the middle. Needs to be basically this. Before I go putting circuits on it. Did I just pull that out of the book? Probably. Stick that back in. Blueprint. I've been wanting an angled version of this. Okay, so oil this tile. Okay, let's actually do that. Let's get that. I want to do that, but shoot. Went over water. Let's find a spot we can do this. I don't think we need this one anymore. You know what? And we can do it rotated, so we can just start this way. So this. So I want the signals on both sides. I don't want to pick up all this wood, so let's. Question I have is, can this go in? See, it can't. The problem with angled, I guess, is can't do it a half. Can you rotate it and do it? Yeah. And the signal up on the top one and the bottom one are wrong. You rotate it. Is that? It's up, up. So that's even. Up. Let's try that. The other thing, problem, copying these. Angles are difficult. So can't do the half one, but rotated the signals match. If I could get the, why isn't that fitting now? There we go. If I could get the half to work, I don't know what, I think you can't do it here. They just don't fit. I don't get it. But oops, that's the stone. So A2 with signals. Let's look at the, so we do horizontal to signals power poles, yeah. So angled to signals, power poles in this case, I'm going to need to downgrade those. Do we have a name for that in the book? Keep going in the wrong thing. Angled parallel track. There's no reason we can't keep the one without power poles. Let's just white this one. least to have the signals somewhat matching. Since we did it from this one, doesn't match. Just do that without the power poles. There, there, rotate them. Yep. Yep. Okay, one actual thing different. Angled. Whoops. Actually have to still redo this one. Oh, I forgot to add the green and red wire. These are blinking no power. They're actually lighted power poles. You know what? If I just created 3 of these without the power pole, without the lights. All right. Yeah, let's finish this up. Okay, so where's my last stop? Unloading station, I think. We need a red version of you. Don't think that 100% is going to work with red. Take that out of the book. I did. I don't want to keep doing that. So to make this work for red, so these will work. And it's just this one that's not going to work. Everything else will work. Double-sided. I probably should have copied that. Set change belts. Oops. Let's also make sure the power poles are down. Yeah, I suppose we do substations, even though we're not doing substations on this one. Okay. So what do we call this? U2. And then red. Okay, and then we probably technically want double-sided versions. You know what? I think I can take that from the double-sided and just remove it at the time. Let's not do that. Okay, so we got the unloading stations. So we have this one and we have this one. Oh, we have these. Should put those in there. hurt, in my opinion, to have a single version of this. But always copy it as needed. All these guys are. There's this thing. Oops. We wanted to make a red belt version. Yeah, I always use Upgrade Planner. Except they're making in 17 a version that you have to have bought to do it. Which, there's no saying you can't use the original, as far as I know. Just probably won't be maintained. Alright. Now where are we? Loading stations. H2L, H2R. YD2A. YD2, YD2L. I'm going to guess the right ones after that. And 2-track EN. All the rest of these stacker pieces. Where's the... I'm not sure I've seen the stackers at all. Here there. So where aren't these stacker things up on the other stacker? Probably because I deleted them. I'm gonna delete this 131 version. Or actually, I think I have like a track other or something. General track, yeah. Let's put that in that book. just right click on it. Yeah, interesting. I think that's done. That's the 4-lane version. Two four two right-hand drive track. Yeah, let's hope this all remains sorted. It looks good. The only caveat I see is maybe I should have run this through, except for not this, just down pulls. Hold on to that book print for a little bit, but so this one's going to have power poles that are just regular, right? Okay. Just delete that again. Put it in there. So now these will all have regular poles. Just in case I join somebody's game, they don't have the mod I have. Can always run it through Upgrade Planner to add the pole things back. Okay, and then, which is exactly what I want to do right now. There it is. In this case, just want to up the poles. I already had the unlit poles. Yeah, well, we can do that. I don't want to up everything. Yeah. Can I duplicate this? Or just have to do a new one? Even changes the icon. Nice. And then we have everything here. There's a 4-lane track one as well. Delete it. It's possible this the 4U one didn't get in the... No, 4U's not in here. Somehow I got it in my inventory, and then when I went to put it in there, I didn't do it. So, kind of got to go through that whole thing again. This. All right. All that because I wanted to light some angled poles. Alright, well, I feel like just sort of canceling this episode. Nobody's really going to want to watch that on YouTube, I don't think. It's hard to say. So anyways, yeah, let's put a cut here, and I'll decide that later. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you're seeing, like to see more, do give me a follow, Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, and ask any questions in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer. I'll be right back.